Greetings, blade fans. I've got to tell you right up front, I've got a beautiful knife to show you for only about 65 bucks from Kizer. And having moved it and opened and closed it, played with it a little bit for, when did it come in? A little earlier today. So for a few hours on and off, I got to work with it. And then I figure I'd get this video right up because at least on this particular one, I'm not seeing any other videos. So thought I'd see if I could do kind of a scoop here, if you will. So what do we have? The Kizer Grazioso. And it is a design by Sherif or Sherif, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Manganas. Sherif Manganas. That's S-H-E-R-I-F. And I'll put all of the little details in the notes. If any of the specs happen to be off, I will make sure those get corrected in the text as well. That's on the video. But I'll be taking the specs from White Mountain, which is where this came from. And don't forget to use Old Sword for your 10% off there. All right, so let's have at it. This is a new knife by Kizer. Feels light in the hand. Again, we'll get to the specs. Right away, you're probably impressed by that amazing recurve blade. Usable choil. Usable thumb ramp with beautiful file-like jimping incorporated. It's a class act. The bolster on this one is brass. There is a model with a copper bolster and a black G10 handle. This one is a green micarta. And I love the way that it has that kind of worn look. Perhaps over time that brass will become a little patinaed and will join the look of that handle as kind of a older looking material. The bolster is stonewashed. You may or may not be able to see that. There's a little bit of texturing on there. And we're going to get to some specs, but let's open and close it a few times. It's virtually drop-shutty out of the box. Snappy action. The clip, and I'm going to compare this clip in a moment to the clip on another Kizer knife, to me seems to be a heavier gauge, as if they've suddenly gone, or at least on this model, to a heavier gauge. You've got right side tip up carry only. There doesn't seem to be any provision on the left. Sorry, lefties. You'll have to adapt the way I did, perhaps. Nice jimped flipper tab. Good amount of detent. By no means too stiff. And this is a N690 steel, by the way. Let's see if we can get the right. I think that's your. Yeah, it's got a serial. So this is sold as a gentleman's knife. It's kind of a luxury knife for the price. And getting little shadows all over the place here, so you can't see numbers that are right next to the bolster, but that is your N690 marker. Beautiful, flat micarta, chamfered on the edges. Great shape of blade, what you'd call kind of a harpoon, if you'd like to. I look at it as a drop point recurve with a thumb ramp. But however you'd like to characterize it, that's fine. And you've also got a beautiful brass backspacer. I mean, look at that. It looks like gold. And again, it's a class act knife. Lighter weight, smaller knife. but hand filling nonetheless. So let's get some specs on this, and anything that's missing I will fill in. So we've got an overall length of 8.11 inches, a blade length of 3.35 inches, a blade thickness of 0.118 inches. Material of the blade is N690, and it's a brass and micarta handle, and it weighs 4.34 ounces, and I'd certainly say that some of that weight is attributable to the brass. So we don't have thicknesses. Let's embark upon that. 0.48, it's vacillating. 0.48 inches handle width. And they did give us the blade in inches, but here it is in millimeters, 2.9 millimeters. I'm going to grab it right up there. Let's call it 3. Vacillates a little bit. Yeah. Don't want to cut myself in the process because this does fall shut. I'm going to call it 3 millimeters. You know, you got to be delicate with the calipers there. Squeeze too hard, you get a little bit off. If you don't squeeze hard enough, you're a little bit off. And let's just validate the weight since I got the scale right here. .965, and what did White Mountain say? 4.34. I guess it isn't, so we're going to call this, let's just call it a even 4 ounces, shall we? So they went a little over. Nice jimping on the liner lock. Release. Looks like we've got some weight relieving. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. Got all kinds of holes in there. So it would definitely be a heavier knife with the brass bolsters were it not for the weight relieving. So we got a 4-ounce knife that is over 8 inches and gives you a beautiful workable handle that is only about a 1/2 inch wide, a little less than a 1/2 inch, 0.48 I think we said. Keep getting drawn back to the blade. It's just a gorgeous recurve blade. So let me do this. And by the way, yes, definitely on bearings. Let me bring out the Kaiser Big Lighter 2, which I have felt is a really class act EDC knife, lightweight, probably even a little lighter, definitely lighter weight than the Grazioso. But what I wanted to show you is that as far as I can tell, this is a thinner gauge, easier to move clip than what we have here. This is a heavier gauge clip, and you're not just going to lift it right up real easy. I mean, that's kind of a monster, but it does slide in and out of the pocket, but it's got some good pressure on your pocket. I don't think it's going to hang up the way that it's made. It has a nicely contoured tip with an angle to it. I think it's going to work out. Let's take a look at it next to the Big Lighter 2, since we've got that available. If you've got a Big Lighter 2 or a Big Lighter, or Big Lighter, as I should be saying with the proper German intonation, other reviewers say it more properly. it is a little bigger than the Big Lighter. How about next to a grippy? About the same size. Back out just a bit, because we're going to make room for the veritable Rat 1, which is a bigger knife, expectedly. So, another look around. Wide open. I was going to say wide open construction, but no, we got that back spacer out of brass. And I believe it is brass. It's got a beautiful balance to it because of the weight relieving in the handle. The back spacer balanced against the blade and these bolsters. Really, really nice. For the money, I don't know how you can beat this. Look how they gave you such a nice finger choil too. I mean, you can choke right up on that guy. Really, really well. Nice deep carry, almost flush with the pommel. Nice show side, 3 screws. Got a Torx T8 looks like. And 2 screws on the clip side along with the 2 screws for the clip. Actually 3 screws, isn't that interesting? Well, one's holding the back spacer in at the very end there. And they are flush-headed screws. The clip does not appear to be inletted into the handle. It looks like it's riding on the surface, but that's fine. We got the flat head screws, so we're good to go. Let me know what you think. I think this is an exquisite knife. Even if it was double this price, it's just beautifully crafted. Kudos to Sherif Manganas. Not sure how to pronounce his name. Does have a presence on Instagram. I believe it's Manganas Steel. And you should be able to look him up. He right away commented on my Instagram posting of a still image of this, and he said, I really hope you like it. And I said, well, looks like I'm gonna. All right, well, BS'd long enough. So this old sword signing out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Be well.